Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or for those with significant Capricorn placements. Capricorn, for your reading today, I was getting quite a few messages, so I felt guided to write it down, which I don't normally do. I have done in the past, but today felt really strongly that I need to do that. So I'm going to read out the messages that I got for you. So the first one is that you're getting some sort of upgrade. And what I was seeing was like, if you're like getting an upgrade on your computer, for example, like the way that it looks for me is that like there's a black screen and then there's a loading bar, right? Like where it's gradually downloading and integrating the upgrade. So that was coming through as being like some sort of upgrade in the crown or the mind or the third eye. But first, you first have to remove or delete the old programming. And it's kind of coming through with this like energy of the void, where there is not a lot, or there's this period of time where like the old is being removed and before the new sort of gets integrated. That's how it's coming through. And I was also getting something about like in the process of deleting or removing the old programming, there was a virus or something like that that was discovered in your system, whatever that is metaphorically. And so that is also being removed and dealt with. So you're clearing something out. And then I heard hard reboot. And so that was coming through to me as being very physical. So it could be that there's something very physical happening in your life right now. Like it could be like there's some sort of spiritual energy that's grounding in the physical, and it's resulting in some sort of reboot or that kind of energy in your physical environment. Then I was also getting like I heard fifth dimension. And what that was coming through with is a 5D upgrade in your spiritual protection. So it was coming through as being like an upgrade that allows you to better protect yourself, or that there's an energy coming in that's sort of helping you to protect yourself. So if it's not you it's a bit of both is kind of what I'm getting with that. You may be experiencing physical discomfort in your body. That's coming through as a cellular level clearing. And then there was something here about part of this virus energy or whatever is being cleared out for you is not necessarily a self-limiting belief, because normally that's how we would see like an Eight of Swords energy of like a self-limiting belief, but it was coming through as being your own limiting beliefs of other people. So only take that if it resonates, Capricorn, but it's coming through kind of like limiting beliefs that you might project onto other people. And the example that was coming through is that, like, for example, you might think to yourself, let's say you meet someone new and you get like this first impression of them, and it's like, oh, that person would not be interested in collaborating with me, for example, right? Like you get sort of this first impression or like maybe kind of surface level impression of someone and automatically assuming that that person wouldn't be interested in you or interested in collaborating with you or like, you know, getting to know you or whatever based on past experiences, of course. But I feel like this is something where these beliefs that you have were protecting you in some way. And protection of self doesn't always, isn't always beneficial, especially if you're protecting yourself in a way that is too rigid or too harsh or not founded in the truth, right? So it's coming through like that. And how it's coming through is that like your spiritual protection is being upgraded so that it doesn't shut out or filter out energies that would actually be beneficial to you, right? So it does feel kind of like removing almost like a filter or something like that. And I feel like it has something to do with like changing your beliefs around, I don't know. It's coming through kind of with like collaboration or like Three of Pentacles kind of energy. So it doesn't have to be necessarily like relationships or romantic relationships, intimate relationships of any sort, but it could just be like things like work or business related or I don't know, anything where there would be collaboration involved, where maybe, and I feel like this is where this level of like a nuanced form of protection that actually involves removing a barrier that you might have had, because it's coming through as being like this hypervigilance in a certain area in your life may have caused you to limit yourself or limit potential relationships or limit potential growth because of this hypervigilance, hyperprotective stance. That's how it's feeling. But that there is also more to come with this. Capricorn. I just heard Sagittarius there. There may be a significant Sagittarius kind of energy. There's more to come with this. You're going to be learning a lot more. And I was getting an intuitive protective gift. I don't know what that means for you. Hopefully that makes sense. But it's coming like, I don't know. It could be kind of something like the word, like intuitive to me. Intuitive protective gift, how I'm receiving that feels kind of like something where it's like you can tell when someone's being truthful or not, and it can also not in a necessarily bad way, because someone could be hiding something, for example, that is meant to protect themselves, right? It's not in a way to be manipulative or deceptive, and it's like being able to discern the difference between that, right? Like, because anyways, it's just wanting to come through with like nuance for you, Capricorn. Like, there was also a message about uncertainty, like something being uncertain and learning to be comfortable with that, or the unknown, right? I'm seeing like the Void card a lot in this energy for you, Capricorn. Okay, but I do think you're getting some sort of like psychic or spiritual upgrade that has to do with protection. Okay, so I'm going to pull cards for you, Capricorn. What is Capricorn's energy? Oh, Alchemical Wedding sort of showed itself, but didn't flip out entirely. Okay, Autumn. I love that. Okay. I love this card so much. And you have Sugar at the bottom of the deck. But Autumn talks about a culmination of energies. It's the harvest, it's the bounty, it's collecting your abundance and also sharing it with others. It is an energy of generosity. But with the culmination card, I do feel like it's like you're reaching the end point of something. The color orange might be significant for you. I'm also getting the number 818. So it is likely this card will appear as an indicator of efforts culminating, of hard work paying off, of fruit hanging low for the taking. Gratitude and generosity are the spirit of the season. So share the wealth of your fortune. Looking back, you realize many hands and hearts have helped you along the way. Holding tight to your bounty won't do you any good. The alchemist shares their wisdom and wealth. They offer their boons back to the world as part of an ongoing cycle. Be like the autumnal tree, come to fruition and then release. Okay, I'm getting so many messages for you, Capricorn. Like, one of them is that I was watching this reel on Instagram of this pianist who was performing at like a I don't know if it was a competition or just like a contest that they, or like a concert that they put on every like 5 years, specifically for Chopin. And she was playing the piece, I think it was called Raindrop Prelude or something like that, and was like visibly moved to tears as she was playing. But like, watching her, like, you could tell that she was just like pure channeling the music, right? Like, she was like really feeling it energetically, emotionally, and it was so beautiful. Like, so I'm kind of getting that for you as being like a culmination of all your hard work, of like everything sort of coming together in a really harmonious way. But there may be sadness associated with that as well, though. That like this might be sort of like a cycle or culmination of a very sad kind of cycle or that kind of thing. Another energy that I'm getting, the second reel or video that I saw, was this like huge over 100-year-old ginkgo tree that apparently, like, I didn't know this about ginkgos, which is a little sad because I have a ginkgo tattoo, but that ginkgo trees like have a significant leaf fall where all the leaves sort of fall at once. We kind of had that a couple days ago, just in like with all the trees because of the snow. Like the leaves hadn't finished shedding all of their leaves before the first snow came, and so when the snow came, it kind of brought all the leaves down at the same time, like in this like big leaf fall. That's sort of what I'm seeing with this for you, Capricorn. Like, so it's coming through as being like this huge release, perhaps of like pain or sadness. And what else was coming through with that is that kind of like, especially with like the body and the immune system, like maybe there was a period of time for you where your nervous system was highly activated, is how it's coming through. And it doesn't feel like, so it could, depends on your scenario. It could be like maybe you had recently like a month or something that was like really stressful at work or whatever, where it's like high adrenaline, or cortisol, or whatever word you want to use there, like high stress levels, high stress hormones, which can have the effect of dampening your immune system. And so once you're out of that period of time, out of that period of stress, sometimes what will happen is that people get sick, right? Like once you finally get time off or you get time to rest, your body sort of catches up with you, and like it can bring up a lot of like illness or pain or sickness because your your nervous system is no longer suppressing that. So that's kind of the energy that's coming through for you. Or for some of you, if it's not something recent, it feels almost like something that's been like for years and years you were in that state, right? Like just a general, like, of course there are always ups and downs, but it feels like a very long period of time, like maybe years, where you were in sort of that high stress kind of state. And so maybe you're almost at the end of this like rest period. Maybe it's taken years in a certain rest period in order for your body, let's say, or your physical environment or physical whatever, to sort of catch up and heal from that time. So I am kind of getting that for you. It's more about the healing, like you're approaching the end or near the end of the healing part of it. After a really long stress period, but I do feel like there's the word that's coming through is imprints of the past that are almost echoing through your experience. That's how it's wanting to come through. It's feeling very poetic. Like the poet energy is coming through with that. Like being able to transmute pain and suffering into light. That's how that's feeling. Or into like a story. Story doesn't quite feel like the right word, but into wisdom that can be shared with other people is how it's coming through. That could help other people as well. Okay, Capricorn. Can I get a card for Capricorn from the animal deck? What is Capricorn's energy? The crow. This is a strong card about like your mystic gifts. I feel like there's something like that. Like maybe you're developing a new mystic gift. It could have something to do with foresight, but it doesn't have to be that exactly for you. To me, the crow represents resourcefulness, like being able to use everything that you have in a creative way to solve problems. But the crow is always holding something, right? Like the crow can use tools. They are quite intelligent in that way. I feel like you have something. I feel like you've uncovered something. I'm getting Scorpio energy with this now. Because it is feeling kind of like there's a death and rebirth process, but I feel like you've almost like... It feels almost like serendipitous. The way that you have stumbled upon something is just how it's coming through. Like, the image that I'm seeing with these crows is how crows can use like sticks, right? Or twigs or whatever to sort of reach into certain places and get food, right? Like to reach into tight spaces that they can't reach themselves. They will use a stick or a twig in order to gain access to something. And it's almost like you've... Capricorn, it feels kind of like you have like picked up a stick, right? A seemingly mundane object or something like that. It doesn't have to be physical, although for some of you it is. But I feel like for a lot of you it feels spiritual. Like you stumbled upon something in your own psyche maybe that I don't think you recognize yet the profound impact that this is going to have on your life, because it's kind of like, for right now, it's just a stick. You haven't figured out how to use that yet in order to gain access to something that you want, right? Like whatever that is for you. It's definitely a gift of some sort. Very interesting. And it's interesting too, because I feel like with the autumn card, this feels almost like by chance is how it's coming through for you. Like I'm getting this kind of energy because you have this like tree that has grown, right? Like the tree that has grown, or this like cycle that is coming to an end, this culmination. But it's almost like in some way this cycle feels like it was not by chance. That's not the right way of saying it, but unintentional on your part is how it's feeling. Like not in a bad way, but it does feel like it's not something that you purposely intended on creating or manifesting. I do feel like it's positive, but it's almost like again, serendipitous is the word that it's coming through for you. Like it was unintended. It wasn't an intended outcome, but it is beneficial regardless. Almost like stumbling upon something by accident, but it's exactly what you need. So it's like nothing is by accident. I just feel like this is something that you didn't consciously intend to create or manifest. That's how it's coming through. But that your soul absolutely needed or wanted or can benefit from. I feel like it has something to do with your, yeah, interesting. Gawacha. Or the gotcha, I don't know how you say it. Gotcha? I guess the gotcha card. And then Arvel the Parrot. Yeah, it feels kind of like, okay. I'm going to read the gotcha card. That's a card about, again, unexpected. Okay, that was the message that was coming through. It's kind of like, you know when squirrels, how they bury the acorns, right? Or seeds or whatever in the winter, like before winter starts. And then sometimes they forget where they bury the seeds. And so trees grow, right? From that unintended outcome. Like that's how it's coming through for you, Capricorn, where it's like, maybe you planted this seed a long time ago, but you forgot where it was or that it had been planted. And so now it's like there's tree has grown unintended by you, right? Because it's like the intention was to prepare for winter, not to grow a plant, right? Like that's how it's coming through. But it's like something has grown and now it's like, now you're benefiting from something that almost felt like an accident, if that makes sense. That's how it's coming through. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah, sudden shock, unexpected events, and rude awakenings. There are two things Gotcha is trying to teach us. First, we need to learn to listen to and trust our intuition. We need to be awake and aware. It is just part of what we need to learn in order to fulfill our potential to have happy and satisfying lives. Without it, we are sleepwalking in the world, missing all of the wonders and joys, while not missing many of the bumps and pitfalls. Second, when there are lessons we need to learn, or when there are experiences that are properly other people's, but that have impact on us, we need to learn to roll with the punches, to take what comes at us, learn what we can from it, and regain our balance as quickly as possible. Things happen. We can't always control them, and we can't always get out of their way. We don't always even have a choice about them. For example, to live with a beloved animal friend probably means that you're going to lose that creature at some point, because most pets have shorter lifetimes than humans do. Other things happen as well. People occasionally with huge sums in lotteries. People occasionally win huge sums in lotteries, but this too, we need to be able to take in our stride and not be completely lost in it. Gotcha in our reading speaks to us of sudden, often violent breakdowns of existing structures, habits, patterns, and or attitudes. When we become too tightly confined by our own self-imposed limitations, including the desire for comfort and security, Gotcha kindly breaks the structure restraining us, whether we think we want him to or not. On a soul level, we know this to be necessary, but in our everyday thoughts, we usually get pretty upset about it. However, breakdown can lead to breakthrough. This is liberation, and we often haven't a clue what to do with it. This is usually the beginning of a period of confusion, even disorientation, while we search for a way forward, although we may think we are simply searching for a way back to what we had before. Recommendation: do not try to pick up the pieces and put them back like they were. Consider instead what you would like to build in that part of your life, and this time remember to leave room for growth. Yeah, interesting. So I am kind of getting a tower energy with this, but it feels like one where it's like liberation from something that was restraining you. And it feels kind of like it has something to, again, it's wanting to reemphasize that part about limiting beliefs on other people, right? Like, that person wouldn't be interested in collaborating with me. That person wouldn't be interested in, or whatever. It doesn't have to be that example specifically, but it does feel kind of like there are limiting beliefs that are within a dynamic, and that communication is somehow really important with this. Because that's what the Arvel the Parrot card talks about. It does feel a bit surprising. But I do feel like there are a lot of fears that are also coming up to be cleared. I'm kind of getting this energy of, you know, those like paper cup telephones where you would like, you have two paper cups that are connected by a thread and you can communicate at a distance, right, with someone else. It's almost like you accidentally picked up this cup and you can hear a voice on the other side, but it's something that you've almost convinced yourself is not real. That's how it's coming through, Capricorn. And it's like, I feel like I've mentioned this recently in another reading. I can't remember which one it was, but there's this book that I read a long time ago. I can't remember. I think it was called Unspoken, and it was about this girl who she always heard this voice in her head, and she thought it was an imaginary friend, right? Like they would talk, her and this voice in her head, and she was very comfortable with it being an imaginary friend. But then something happens where she actually meets this person in real life, and they discover that they have a telepathic connection. But that was really jarring because for like her entire life, she thought it was an imaginary friend. And there's this tension in the beginning of their relationship in person where it's like, neither one of them feel comfortable with the other as a physical person. It's like they kind of wish that they could just go back to being imaginary friends in their heads, because the reality of it is so disorienting and confusing. And it's like having to accept that the other is an other, right? Like, I don't know how else to explain that. Like, the other has a whole life, a whole like personality, yes, of course, but also just like they have their own life outside of what the connection is. And having to sort of like fit all of that into this new idea, like that's how it's feeling, where it's like before it was just an imaginary friend, but now it's this actual human being whose life is intersecting with yours in a way that feels uncomfortable. So I don't know if that's for you, Capricorn. Just take it if it resonates. It's wanting to come through quite strongly though, that story. Anyway, so let's see an energy that's outside of Capricorn. It does feel like there's something quite shocking about this, or like, I guess unbelievable, or like very mystical or something like that. Quicksilver. Okay, so this is the element that represents Mercury, the planet. We are in a Mercury retrograde at the moment. And then you have yellowing at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like you are receiving communication, Capricorn, from an unlikely source is what's coming through, or surprising source. Interesting. I'm kind of getting something like, so it feels very strongly for whoever this reading for. It feels like it has something to do with psychic gifts, so just take it out if it resonates. But it's kind of like maybe you have stumbled upon a new psychic gift of yours that feels very foreign to you, or like you don't quite believe it yet, is how it's coming through. But it feels like there's someone who's very close to you, maybe who has come into your life recently, who actually is very experienced with this already. Or maybe you're about to meet them, is how that's feeling. Like they are very experienced or at least knowledgeable or have been around this a bit more, so it's not as new and unbelievable to them. For them, it's real. That's how it's feeling. And I feel like that, like, you're going to be hearing about this or learning about this soon, or perhaps they're going to be sharing this with you soon. Its gift of the Mercury, its gift is to slip between worlds. It cannot be pinned down or easily defined. Mercury came to symbolize the god Hermes and the great hermetic secrets of alchemy, always sliding away into secrecy, just beyond the alchemist's grasp. It is said Mercury represents the transition between the physical and the unseen worlds, between life and death, between science and the esoteric. It is the metal of sacred thresholds. Shamanic practitioners of every tradition must acquire the ability to stand at the doorway between worlds. This is no small feat. The Mercury card indicates the querent has a particular gift for such a task. This is the work of the shaman, teacher, sage, artist, and alchemist. Heed the call of Quicksilver. The sacred threshold requires your attendance. I don't know if this person has the gift that you have, but in some way they are supporting or encouraging you to develop this, whatever this gift is. It's kind of coming through this energy of a benefactor, but like a spiritual benefactor is how it's feeling. They're supporting you in this, so it could be like a new guide or something like that. But there is like intent, hummingbird, not intense, incoming communication with the hummingbird as well. So, and the bee. So lots of air, right? You have the crow, the hummingbird, and the bee, which is all air, communication, messages. I love the hummingbird card. It's just so beautiful. I think it's okay, so this person may not have the same gift as you, but I think it's that. They're not coming through as a mentor or a teacher or that kind of dynamic. It feels more like they recognize that you have a certain ability, or that you're developing something, or that you're on the brink of something. And I do feel like for them, that is the nectar that they're seeking. So in some way, it's going to help them. But I feel like they're also wanting to help you to develop this gift so that it can perhaps benefit them, but also benefit others as a whole, right? It is coming through as like a benefactor, like somebody who, like, I'm kind of getting like Shark Tank, right? Like, where you pitch this idea and then you get an investor. And so that person benefits from your success, but also it allows you to grow and give back to other people, right? Like, that's the sort of dynamic that I'm getting with this. Their interest in you is not purely selfish. It does feel like a collaboration, right? Like mutually beneficial for all. Where you have the nectar that this person needs, but also they are giving to you in some way, right? Like, it does feel like a benefactor investor kind of energy. I don't know, like fairy godmother. Yeah. Interesting. Grace. They're coming through this energy of grace. Singer of Transfiguration at the bottom of the deck. This is one of my favorite cards. It talks about a jackpot, overcoming some sort of significant obstacle, and reaping the rewards of all the hard work that you've put in. Yeah, the fairy godmother. It is feeling like that. Like, they're like a fairy godmother, right? They're gonna transform what you have into the most beautiful ball gown, metaphorically, whatever that is. And it feels like a gift. They're here to help you develop a gift, not necessarily through teacher or mentorship kind of, or like learning. Like, I don't think that they have necessarily the same gift as you or the same responsibility or whatever, but they are going to nurture that within you by giving you resources or whatever it is. Like, they're going to open doors for you is how it's coming through. Like, make opportunities available to you in order to nurture whatever this is. Yeah. The fairy godmother gives us grace to help us along the way. It may be a little touch of fairy dust to lift a mood. It might be a conspicuous miracle. It might be anything in between. She protects us from the ill will and plain stupidity of others and from our own mistakes. She untangles the snarls in our psyches and bestows gifts upon us, whatever she feels we need. Sometimes she gives us choices when we thought we had none. Grace is the good fortune we get from the universe, even when we don't deserve it. In fact, deserving or not deserving is not the issue. We are, and therefore we are loved. It's that simple. She tries not to interfere with our learning processes, but she adds that little touch of fairy grace that helps us to learn a little faster sometimes. Quite often, she acts in our lives through the hands and hearts of others. She offers last-minute rescues. When she turns up in our readings, good things may well be happening that we don't think we deserve, or that we do deserve, but haven't thought to ask for. Almost imperceptibly, she teaches us about giving and receiving unconditionally, helping us to open our hearts to love and acceptance. She sometimes showers us with abundance. Keep an eye out for unexpected good fortune, especially when you thought you saw bad luck headed your way. Remember to say thank you by passing a kindness onto someone else. Practice a little fairy godmothering yourself and see how enjoyable it is. Part of the fun is to do it so that the recipient doesn't know where the gift came from. It's so interesting because I feel like that whole description was just summarizing everything that I just said about like a benefactor, right? Like someone who just gives to you whether or not you feel you deserve it, right? It doesn't matter. That's not the point of this. I feel like there's something here where I do feel like it is mutually beneficial. If this is an actual person for you, it's like if this is an actual person, it's like they just want to help. Is just how it's coming through. Unconditionally. It's grace, whether you feel you deserve it or not. But knowing that you will also be able to give back to others as well with the Autumn card, that it is a card about shared abundance and generosity. That's really lovely, Capricorn, but I feel like with this, the gotcha, it's like part of you is not seeing this clearly or is finding it really hard to believe is how that's feeling. That someone would do this or that someone would be this generous or like, I don't know, something like that. It's like, but I do think in a way, whatever this dynamic is, it's shattering some sort of belief that you had about other people, right? Like other people are cruel or other people don't like to give or other people are not interested in collaboration. It's always selfish. Like those kind of beliefs that not only limit yourself, but limit others and how other people can interact with you. This feels like it's shattering that because this person feels like this hummingbird energy, just like pure joy, pure high vibrational, quote in quotations, energy. They just give because they enjoy it, right? Like it's like they're just giving unconditionally. They just have a lot of grace, like that kind of thing. Yeah, Temperance. This is a card about Today it's coming through with triumph, actually. Like a very like a very soft and quiet, triumphant energy where like you have overcome something very significant, Capricorn, and like rising from the ashes is what I'm getting with this as well. Again, that whole part of the reading where I was talking about like the end of a very significant healing period with the Temperance card. It's like this is you having healed that and transformed it and transmuted it, alchemized it into something perhaps very tangible is how it's feeling to me. But or that there's like, yeah, like a physical consequence in some way to that. I think you're almost there. Like it's like you basically are there is how it's going through, but maybe you're not quite believing it. That's how it's like it just feels like that. Like you're not quite feeling that you've gotten there yet. I don't know. Four of Wands. Stability. It's like stable happiness is what I get with this Four of Wands. Building stable happiness. Maybe that's that feels kind of like the tree that's grown. I'm kind of getting this feeling of like taking this moment to just sort of pause, to stop and smell the roses, but like realizing that you've reached some level of happiness or stability that I feel like in the past in the past this might have felt like a very far away dream or wish. It's kind of like, I guess taking a moment to see how far you've come, but like, I don't know, it kind of feels like realizing that you made it is kind of how it's feeling, but it's almost like it's surprising to you that you've gotten to this point. It came very unexpectedly is how it's coming through. Or you didn't expect this to be what makes you happy is how that's feeling. Okay, interesting. There's something about that where there may have been a cycle for you in the past that had something to do with like hiding what makes you happy. Perhaps out of fear or shame or guilt even, like hiding what makes you happy or not knowing what makes you happy. I don't know, like something like that. It has something to do with like happiness and fulfillment and joy, celebration with others that I feel like maybe you were even protecting from yourself, like, because it's kind of coming through as being like an example, like from that description that I was reading about the gotcha card, where it's like if you get a pet, it comes with the knowing that one day you're most likely gonna lose that pet, right? Like most likely the pet is going to die before you, and that is extremely painful. And it's kind of like what I'm getting with this is that there was an aspect of yourself that maybe you were protecting yourself from pain and loss by refusing to let in happiness, right? Because the period of time when your pet is alive and well and happy, so joyful. But it's like you weren't willing to allow yourself to feel that because of the inevitable loss that would come from that, right? I'm getting emotional, sorry. It's coming through like that. It's I feel like there was a period of time where you were protecting yourself from your own happiness out of fear of loss is how it's coming through. Maybe there was a part of you that believed that you didn't deserve happiness. And that's being shattered right now, that belief that you don't deserve happiness. That's incorrect. And I feel like there's something coming through here that's like giving you happiness. Sort of like without strings, like without any sort of obligation or anything like that. Yeah, 3 of Swords. Yeah. 3 of Swords, 10 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, Strength, and the Knight of Wands. I feel like this other is healing from their own hardship. 3 of Swords, 10 of Swords, right? That's like that combination especially is a significant amount of pain that they're coming through with, though, is like the Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, and the Strength card. Eight of Cups. Yeah, they're walking away from something that was unsatisfactory to them. Queen of Cups. I feel like this person has done a large amount of healing. A significant amount of healing. And are moving towards you. 2 of Wands. And they're making plans is how it's coming through. Ace of Wands. I feel like this is going to be some sort of collaboration. Yeah, 10 of Pentacles. That has something to do with like creativity or passion. And long-term connection or legacy or building is how that's feeling. Okay, Capricorn, I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.